right, well, thank you, Bob. As Bob mentioned, my name is Chris Vick, and I have the pleasure of managing the Bureau of Reclamation's asset management program. Just two topics I'm going to cover today. Just an overview of the Bureau of Reclamation. A lot of people get us confused, don't know who we are. So just a quick overview of the organization, and then provide just an update on our asset management program since last year. So who we are, Reclamation, we have our mission to manage, develop, and protect water-related resources in an environmentally, economically sound manner in the interest of the American public. Sounds like asset management, doesn't it? We are the nation's largest wholesale water supplier. We operate 338 reservoirs with a total storage capacity of over 140 million acre feet. To put that into context, we store enough water in our reservoirs to supply about 140 million families for an entire year. We also provide 1 out of 5 Western farmers with irrigation water. We irrigate about 10 million acres of farmland that produces about 60% of the nation's vegetables and about 1/4 of its fresh fruits and nut crops. We're also the second largest producer of hydropower in the United States. We operate 53 hydroelectric power plants, and we produce about 40 billion kilowatt hours every year, or over the last about 10 years. It's important to note we are second to the Army Corps of Engineers. They are the #1 hydropower producer in the country, but we do have the largest generating units in the world at our Grand Coulee Dam. We have 3 units that operate 810 megawatts apiece, and those are still the largest generators in the world. We also have a big recreation component. We manage about 250 recreation sites, and we get about 100 million visitors annually, mostly recreating on our reservoirs. And we contribute about $64 billion a year in economic output, and support about 500,000 jobs. And we own a lot of assets. Our current replacement value is over $110 billion. We have about 500 dams in our fleet. Like I mentioned, 338 reservoirs. Again, we're the second largest producer of hydropower with 76 hydropower plants. We have a lot of roads. We have about 2,600 miles of roads. We have about 300 public bridges and about 5,000 total bridges in our inventory. And then we also have quite a few miles of trails, over 1,500 miles of trails. So that's the Bureau of Reclamation. We're well known for the Grand Coulee Dam, the Hoover Dam, which hopefully you can see behind me in the video. In our asset management division, it's part of our Reclamation's Dam Safety and Infrastructure Directorate. And the directorate falls under the Chief Engineers Organization. We have 18 employees in total, and that's split between 3 different branches. We have the Operations and Maintenance branch, which sets standards and guidelines and provides training to create consistency across the agency on how we do operation and maintenance. Then we have our Land Resources branch. So this is everything related to the lands that we own. We own about 7 million acres of land, and they look at land management as well as recreation. And the third branch is what we call our Infrastructure Investment and Management branch. And that's really where we do more of the nuts and bolts of asset management. So to provide some updates of where we are from last year, we're really proud and pleased that we released our first strategic asset management plan this year. It does align with the ISO 55000. And with the pandemic, we have seen some great efficiencies from releasing that strategic asset management plan. Our next iteration will be more heavily focused on strategy. We hope to have that out next year. And you can look at our strategic asset management plans available to the public on our website, which is www.usbr.gov. We also continue to build our asset inventory. That's something we've really been trying to do. What do we own and where is it located? And create consistency across the entire agency. This year, we mined over 80 different data sets. All these data sets had disparate data, and we're developing an authoritative source for our inventory. We're doing that through a GIS layers, and we're developing between 10 and 12 different GIS layers that will show all of our assets across the agency. Right now, we've pretty much completed the draft of that inventory effort, and the next step is setting those layers out to the field for verification and validation. We've built a smart editor tool that's going to allow the field staff to easily manipulate the data to ensure that we have the most accurate asset data. We really feel that developing a solid asset inventory is the true foundation to asset management moving into the future. We really feel like it's going to set us up for success over the next decade or two. We hope to have that project complete within the next 2 years, if not earlier. And again, I can't say it enough. Just having an accurate asset inventory is the foundation for asset management and setting up reclamation for future positive progress. Another big development this year is we had a law that was signed in March of 2019 called the Reclamation Transparency Act. And what that requires is a list of repair needs, a cost estimate for each of those repair needs, and a relative level of importance. And we have to submit that back to Congress every 2 years, starting in March of 21. So we have a draft report that's already been developed. We're currently vetting that, and it should be submitted to Congress in the next couple of months. The relative level of importance that Congress is asking for, we've developed 5 different buckets. We call those A through E projects, and those are based upon risk and benefit. And we're calculating risk as the product of likelihood and consequence, and then benefit is calculated by the return on investment and enhancement of reclamation's mission. And again, this is giving us the relative level of importance of each of these projects that we're submitting to Congress. And then also, it's important to note that that report will be publicly available, so everybody on the call today can access the report if you'd like to look at it. Another big area of focus this year was what we call our Major Rehabilitation Replacement, or MR&R. As part of the Transparency Act, we're collecting our MR&R needs across the agency. MR&R includes deferred maintenance, so that's maintenance that we had planned. For some reason or another, it was delayed to a future period of time. All of our safety of dams projects, we have quite a few safety of dams projects. Those are all part of our MR&R. And then anything that's considered extraordinary maintenance. These are the big projects typically over $100,000. Those all fall into the bucket of MR&R. This year we developed a new SharePoint application that's made it easier on the field to report the information to us. We've also developed an IT solution to allow everyone from the field, all the way from the field to headquarters, to really slice and dice the data any way they would like to. We're getting a lot of really good buy-in from the field, which is always positive and it's great. As many of you know, it's not really easy to do. We just finished our FY20 analysis last week, and our projected 5-year need is $4 billion, and our need over the next 30 years is $12 billion. We feel pretty confident in that $4 billion number over the next 5 years. That 30-year figure of $12 billion is likely pretty low. But we have more, regardless, we have more money, more needs than we have money, and we really feel like asset management is going to help us prioritize those investments. We're also continuing to participate on the Federal Asset Management Working Group, and that work group is composed of Reclamation, Peter with the Army Corps of Engineers, WAPA, the Western Area Power Administration, and the Bonneville Power Administration. For each meeting, we select a theme and we do a deep dive into that area. In the past, we've discussed asset management plans, strategic asset management plans, computerized maintenance management systems, maintenance philosophies, communication surrounding asset management, and other topics just focused specifically on asset management. We've seen a lot of success from the working group, and we really feel like it's pushed reclamation as an agency. And I think the other federal agencies that are part of that working group would attest to that. We're also looking at tools and technology. Back to data, it's just so important to get good and high quality data. We're really putting emphasis on good data collection. We're looking at our Maximo system. So we use Maximo as our computerized maintenance management system, and we call our version of Maximo, our customized version of Maximo, Karma. When we originally procured Maximo, we allowed the field to set it up in any way they wanted to, and that's really proven to be quite an issue for us. We now have a few dozen different asset hierarchies and just a lack of consistency, specifically with granularity of the assets across the agency. We recently developed a solicitation for a Karma strategic plan. What this is going to do is going to document the current state of the application. And then we're asking a contractor to benchmark reclamation across industry as well as other government agencies. The contractor will be reaching out to our field staff, our regional staff, and staff at headquarters, giving us that full line of sight for their vision of where they want that system to go. And once we have that vision established, we're asking the contractor to develop a gap analysis and provide a few different options to set up reclamation for success into the future. We plan on selecting an alternative, and then this will become what we call our strategic plan for Karma, for updating Karma. We're also using IT solutions such as Tableau. We're finding a lot of success from Tableau as well as MS Power Apps, Microsoft Power Apps. Just for visual, we're getting a lot of this great data in, and just displaying it to leadership is just so important. These different data visualization tools have really helped us kind of start to crack that nut on the importance of good data, and when we collect good data, how we can give that data back to the field for them to utilize. And then finally, we're looking at how to better utilize mobile solutions. We're still doing, through our operation and maintenance programs, we're still doing a lot of pen and paper inspections. We really want to get away from that. We want to start using mobile solutions. We're seeing a lot, we could see a lot of efficiencies. Right now, we're sending inspectors out to the field. They spend a day out in the field and then anywhere between a day or two back in the office, hand typing the reports and entering them into a system. With a mobile solution, we know we're going to gain efficiencies by allowing those field staff to go out into the field, collect all the data that they need. The data would be in the right fields because they're following a mobile solution. And then when they return back to the office at the end of the day, all that data is being uploaded back into the system. So they do not need to spend another day or two in the office hand typing the reports. And those are the major updates I had this year. Bob, I'll turn it back to you.
That is fantastic, Chris. Sounds like you guys have been really, really busy and made great strides. So I appreciate that. We got a couple of questions. One of them I'm going to wait on because I think it applies to all three agencies. So I'll ask it at the end about cybersecurity. There is one question about the working group that can who can join and how, if possible.
Well, it's a secret group. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're always looking for additional membership. So please, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Peter. We're both on the working group team. And we have a meeting coming up here, I believe, in November. And if you're interested, I believe my contact information is available. Just reach out to me and let's chat.